Hey guys, Parfax here. Today I'm bringing you a video on how to start gearing up really quickly in New World. All right, let's get started. Now, today's video is going to be a really short one, but I wanted to bring you guys a video about, well, maybe you want to swap builds or maybe you're just starting to play. I know there's a lot of free accounts that just came out and now you're starting to get to level 65. You're ready to start gearing up, but you don't have a whole lot of money. There's a couple options, but we're going to focus on one specific thing that you can do every day to give yourself some gear, but to also get a really nice headset on, well, any build you want to start playing or any build that you currently are playing. And of course, we're going to be here in Cutlass Keys. Now, many people and pretty much everybody know about the Well of Fortune. There's a few things here that you can buy every day and every week. They're going to help out your character, but people seem to really overlook one aspect of the Well of Fortune. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to really get the pieces you really want, how to kind of game the system a little bit, and show you, well, me needing to build out a character and see what pieces of gear that we get. So when you're at the Well of Fortune, we'll go over it really quickly. You need doubloons. So there are these tokens right here. You can go here. I'm not going to go into it too in depth, but you can get a few things every day. You can go do some chest runs. You can go into the PvP zone. Every week you're going to get a key that's going to give you 500 free or 450 profit. And you're just going to get them while doing stuff inside, well, Cutlass Keys. So make sure you're doing, especially the chest runs every day. They'll run down here and hit all these elite zones. They're very fantastic. They're going to get you a decent amount of doubloons each day. Now, let's take a quick look at my gear so you can see what we're doing here. So we do have a couple decent pieces of gear. We have a fully leveled up winged leather shoes. We have a fully leveled up boltcaster. But outside of that, we don't have a ton. We do have, I guess, a pretty decent piece here. We did get from a Goldcursed chest, which I will show you. The chest itself, when I got it, I was like, not very good, but actually still pretty good for the build that I'm currently running. And then we have a couple pieces of PvP track gear. Now, if you go to the PvP track, they'll be on these little checkpoints. You can get those pieces of gear. I can upgrade those to 700, which I probably will do eventually. But we want to replace my helmet, maybe one of these pieces of gear here. We have a 700 hatchet here, but it's strength. We don't want the 38 strength here for what I'm trying to run. We can actually swap out the earring. We do have a better earring we got from Gorgon, but this is going to go for every piece of gear. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what I'm talking about. So of course, everybody knows that you can scroll all the way down here. You can go down to this Goldcursed epic crate. You can get 3 of these a day. Now, since the start, and I have about 2 weeks where I've missed it, I've bought these every day once I hit level 65, and I've gotten 2 625 pieces. The piece that I showed you is the only one that was actually good for me, and at the time it was not. I had featherweight on, and it gave me, of course, a decent piece of gear, but for the artifact that I had currently running, luckily I do have a build that I can actually run it, so it doesn't go to waste. The other 620 or 725 piece of gear that I got was absolute trash. But we want to get these every day. They're a very little investment for a potentially high reward, so not bad. So we also have these weapons. A lot of these aren't very good. Now, if you're a fire staff user, the swoosh is actually really good. This weapon will carry you pretty hard. Outside of that, there's not a ton. I think the spear is not bad. I think it stopped poking me here, and it has vicious penetrating empowerment, and it gives you a 3rd perk. For the most part, I don't worry about these too much unless I absolutely need one. These are essentially free, at least when it comes to, you know, giving gold. But yeah, most of them aren't too good. Like keen penetrating empowerment, not great for the bow. So what am I talking about here? We're not talking about the 725 because you should never, ever, 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 ever be buying these. I'd be very hard pressed. You'd have to have a lot of Goldcursed coconuts laying around to be able to buy these. I'm not buying these. We don't get enough coconuts around to spend money on these or spend our, I mean, I guess money, but the Goldcursed coconuts are super valuable. And yeah, we're not buying this. So we're actually talking about the 710 armor. So the 710 armor, people are gonna be like, oh, but it's not 725. Why would I ever waste my time doing this? I could put a video out about it if you would like, but there are other videos out there and talking about the difference between 700 to 725, even a full set of 725. The physical armor difference is only 1%. Yes, you do get some attribute points, and yes, they are valuable. But when you are creating your character, there's a few things to keep in mind. One, you might just not have the money for it. To get the 725 piece of gear is extremely expensive. I did craft my 725 fire staff, which I have right here. It's a ton of money. I think it was 150, 160K. And then I did craft a pair of boots here with enchanted ward, fire harnessing, and empowered medium shower for my war build when I'm running featherweight. Very expensive and not obtainable for a lot of people. So we're going to cut a few corners here. We're going to show you how to kind of game the system just a little bit. So when it comes to these crates, they are going to be loot biased. This means whatever you put on your person, whatever attributes you have in there, it's going to want to roll that. So one thing, I had a new person join the company. They're like, hey, I want to play bow. How would I do it? Well, I said, well, go here to the Goldcursed ranged weapons. I opened up a bunch of these at one point, and I only ever got one weapon that wasn't the bow, which is what I currently had on. I did roll one musket, and he opened up, I think, 4 and got 3 bows and 1 musket. So today, just to show you, let's go ahead and open up a one-handed melee. Now, it's not guaranteed to always give you your piece of gear, but from what I found, it is extremely biased towards what you are wearing. Let's go ahead and buy one and see what happens. Now, we'll look at my attribute points because I do want this to roll dexterity. I have not tried this, but we're going to go ahead and try it. Now, the main stat for the hatchet is actually strength. And the only reason we have this is because we just had a lot of mismatched stats here, which I thought would be a good time to show you the video. So we have a little bit of strength. You can even respec. Make sure you have your magnify set to whatever you want. And then if you really want to, we're going to pump it up as high as it can go. We'll go put all the rest of the points in there just to make sure we're like, we really want dexterity. Let's go ahead and open up this crate. So if my theory is correct, there's a pretty high chance this should roll a hatchet and should roll dexterity. Let's see what we got. We got a hatchet, 703. That's a good start. And it's a dexterity, penetrating backstab, vicious, and empowering rending throw. Not too bad. The big thing here was I wanted to get a dexterity hatchet. We got it. We got penetrating backstab, which is really good. Vicious is still pretty good on the hatchet. Empowering rending throw. I'm currently not running rending throw, but it is something that I can definitely run, especially when we got this. So, I mean, we've opened up one crate. We got exactly what we were looking for. So let's go ahead and target a few other pieces. My helmet, not great. We do have lightning harnessing and health on it. We have purity of light. So let's go ahead and go light. Now, mind you, this is a light piece. I did try this on my fire staff, and it did, for whatever reason, want to roll int gloves, always light armor. It wouldn't roll anything else. I think I had heavy on at the time. It was always rolling light. So let's go ahead. We need helmet. So we got a helmet crate. We got the 710. Got one. Let's go ahead and open it up. All right. What'd we get? Ranger. So we already know that's dexterity. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I don't like to look at it in that screen. I like to scroll over it. And we got freedom, shirking heals, and slash conditioning. 703. Not too bad. That is already an instant upgrade to what I was wearing. So we've opened up 2 crates, and I have gotten 2 upgrades to my gear. We're going to go ahead and slot that there. So this is a tip that you can use. Now, one thing that I will mention is when you are rolling, and we'll go up to Shattered Mountain, which is where I like to do it. Oh, there's a boss up. One thing to keep in mind, and this is something I don't think a whole lot of people take into account. Whenever you're getting gear, as you can see, it's very easy to get very generic good pieces of gear. With them taking out a lot of the luck, for the most part, luck doesn't roll on gear very much. The skinning and mining luck, indestructible. With them taking all that out, it's very easy to get 3 decent perks on your armor. One thing it is not easy to do is to actually get 3 weapon perks on your armor. So let's go to the gypsum kiln, and I'm going to show you a way around that too. So we have a few pieces of gear here. Let's scroll down to some of the ones we have. Oh, we probably have to take them off. Let's see if we have any. We don't have any on. So let's go ahead and just take off these legs called the marsh. Oop. So we have the marsh. So it would need an armor matrix and things that we can get just about for free. Now, if you're not completing the Gorgon run, this is going to be a little bit more expensive too. That is going to be another 15K. So you're maybe looking at 25K for all of this, which if you were to be able to craft a best piece of gear, 25K would not be what you do. So what you want to do is we have this piece of gear here. It's going to roll with health, shirking heals, which I like. And then it doesn't have to be this piece of gear. It can be anything that can roll to 700. And I can go ahead and roll a weapon perk on it. So if I was a healer, I could go Fortified Sacred Ground. These are almost impossible to get while you are actually gearing out your character. Most people end up having to craft them, but I believe they forget about this ability to upgrade. Now you can get multiple pieces of the same gear. So if you want to have the march and put it on 3 pieces of gear, you want to have 3 different setups, that is fine. Now it might be a little bit easier to get a item piece that drops off a specific boss, but you can actually go ahead and just upgrade these. This is what I suggest people do, and this is what I've been suggesting people in my company to do, because it's very, very hard to get weapon perks. As a fire staff user, if you're using Meteor, Fireball, and Pillar, you definitely want all 3 of those perks on your gear, and it's extremely hard to actually gear out your character. I have a pretty good mage setup. I will bring it up now, but you're going to see that, well, I don't have everything at 700. We have this random piece of gear here, 699. Not too bad with slash conditioning, refreshing, and freedom. Very good generic piece of armor. But then we have my light pair of gloves with refreshing pillar of fire, vigor, and empowering armor breaker. This piece of gear is absolutely pretty crap. This is the next piece of gear that I'm going to upgrade, and I have just about everything I need to do it, but it's not very good. And then of course I showed you my boots already, which I had to craft myself. I haven't gotten any good pieces of gear to actually drop with the weapon perk. So in order to do this, the best way to do it is to not just craft generic pieces using the gypsum kiln, but to actually upgrade that gear with your weapon perks. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Going to give you a couple quick tips on gearing out your character. You can of course use, if you've done a bunch of Gorgon, you probably don't need me to help you gear out anyway. You can go down here and get your Gorgon weapons. You can do dungeons to get all these dungeon pieces of gear. I suggest getting the 725 weapons. There's a few exceptions. Get your artifacts and stuff like that. But when it comes to getting your armor specifically, and even your jewelry to some extent, go down to the Well of Fortune and get it. I have a bunch of pieces of gear still in here. Let's see. I did get some Gorgon pieces, which were upgrades. We have Goldcursed amulet there. That's Gorgon. I think this is Goldcursed, Spectral. I don't remember. I think it has to say Goldcursed on it to be there. But we rolled a bunch of amulets. We rolled a bunch of earrings. Now, here's one. This is going to be Goldcursed. Yep, Goldcursed earring. We did roll a bunch of different pieces of gear, getting a lot of jewelry. We didn't roll as many jewelry because we did get the elemental band here pretty quickly, so we just ended up going with that instead. But know that the Wheel of Fortune is absolutely amazing. You saw me roll it twice, and I got 2 upgrades on my gear already. So go ahead, roll it. Make sure you roll the kiln here for your weapon perks. It's going to be the easiest way to gear out your characters, and you'll be rocking close to Abyss in no time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe like always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.